This is the Energy Makers Show, featuring the innovators, financiers, and policymakers focused on the global energy demand. Brought to you by NRG, moving clean energy forward. And here's your host, Russ Capper.
Hi, I'm Russ Capper, and welcome to episode number 104 of the Energy Makers Show. First up today, our topic will be Shale Experts, because our guest is Rons Dixon, founder and CEO of Shale Experts, the digital portal containing comprehensive data and real-time news pertaining to everything in the unconventional space. Next up, the topic, NGVs, natural gas vehicles, as we check in with Lynn Lyon at the University of Texas in Austin. She's the Director of Market Fuel Development with Dallas-based Pioneer Natural Resources Company, and she's going to bring us up to date on the very progressive Texas Clean Transportation Triangle. All of that right after this.
At BKD, we understand the constantly shifting nature of the energy industry. As a national CPA and advisory firm, we serve energy clients from the beginning to the end of the cycle. Our experienced energy advisors serve approximately 300 energy companies in exploration, midstream, downstream, oilfield services, and power production. Plus, we're the largest North American member of the Praxity Global Alliance, which means we can help you wherever you operate. Contact a BKD advisor or visit us online to learn more.
This is the Energy Makers Show, brought to you by NRG, moving clean energy forward. And now, back to the Energy Makers Show with your host, Russ Capper.
Welcome back to the Energy Makers Show. My guest now, Rons Dixon, the founder and CEO of Shale Experts. Rons, welcome to the Energy Makers Show.
Thank you.
Tell us about Shale Experts.
So Shale Experts is really a digital platform that allows you to dissect multiple forms of data as it pertains to unconventional worldwide. We understand that there's lots of platforms that either focus on singular plays, they're news platforms. But what we do that makes us fundamentally different is that we are way more contextualized. And we use that word a lot, and people tend to ask, well, what do you mean? Well, we'll take the news, we'll take the data, we marry those together, and we give you intelligence. So that's really what Shale Experts is all about.
So if you were maybe even an investor or an exploration development guy looking at Marcellus and wanted to know what was going on there, Shale Experts would be your place? Shale
Experts is the place.
All right.
That's a very good point, because what we cover, again, is we cover exploration and production, we cover finance and investing, we cover drilling and completions. So we cover from you acquire the asset, is what we typically would say. The moment you acquire the asset all the way through sales, production and sales. So we cover midstream as well. We actually have a fantastic midstream database that is well used by our E&P subscribers.
Okay, but let's say it's even before I acquire the asset and I'm thinking about acquiring an asset there. Seems like it might be pretty good for me to check out then as well.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll use actual examples. Let's say you are an investor, you're trying to get a good feel for what's going on in the Marcellus. There's tons of news websites that are available. But what Shale Experts will do for you as an investor, we'll tell you who has exposure, who has acreage positions. We have actually great acreage maps, so you know where operators are, whether or not they're in the sweet spot. So as an investor, that's a great tool for you to understand where operators are positioned. Another thing we cover is what the budgets are for some of these operators, what kinds of success or failure they're having. So those are some of the things that really separates Shale Experts from a lot of the sites that are available on the internet right now covering unconventional and shale.
Sounds interesting and would be very popular and useful right now. I mean, so much is going on in the shale plays right now. But do you get down into real detail and detailed data and information about transportation and water and all those categories that are evolving right now?
Absolutely. We another thing that's really good about Shale Experts is we have we have a very unique database, and that is our frac database. I'll go on record to say there's probably only one other company in the industry that has this database. And what it allows you to do, we'll take a step a little bit back. We went through the land grab process, which was everybody just buying up acreage. And now it's time, the investors are looking and saying, okay, now it's time to prove that acreage up by actually drilling wells and looking at. So we have gone from that stage to now it's all about how these wells are actually drilled and completed, which is where this database becomes very, very useful, because we cover things like how much water is used per operator to frack and complete a well. We cover what kind of sand or proppant they're using in those wells, what kind of lateral, how long of a lateral, how many stages are being fracked. And those are what is called the secret cocktail. It's the reason why EOG is considered one of the best drillers in the Eagle Ford, is because they have figured out what that secret cocktail is.
Okay. I mean, do you get down to the level, I'm of the understanding they don't all necessarily handle water the same way. And some of them are sitting there and cleaning it. Some of them are hauling it off and bringing in more clean. Do you get down to that level of detail water?
Yeah, we do. We do cover that, not as detailed as we'd like to, but we cover it from a regulatory standpoint. Because really what drives the technology adoption in these areas as it pertains to water and water transportation is the regulatory issue. As an example, take the Marcellus. The regulatory issues in the Marcellus is fundamentally different from the regulatory issues in Texas. So you don't have as many saltwater disposal wells in the Marcellus, so you have to find a way to reuse that water. Whereas in Texas, we're a little bit more what's the word? We're a little bit more
cooler.
You're right. We're a little bit more cooler. So, and we've been doing it. We understand really what is going on. It's not new to us in a sense. So, that's what drives some of those technologies. Really has to do with the regulatory issue.
You bet. Okay, so let's say I've just found out, about Shale Experts from this interview, and I'm watching. Go, holy smokes! I need to be part of that. What does one do if they want to use your services?
So Shale Experts is interesting in the sense that you find us either. Sometimes it's word of mouth, or you can go on Google and search, or you can just type shaleexperts.com in your browser, and it will take you to the website. And you'll see the way the site is structured. It's structured in such a way that it allows you to vertically go into each play and get the information you need based on your job profile.
Okay. And can I do that without having to pay?
So we do. Good question. So we do offer a free trial.
Okay.
And what it allows you to do is it allows you to really get a feel for what kinds of information you will be getting. And you're able to test certain features and functionalities of the website.
But at some point I have to subscribe.
Yes, at some point. We'd love for you to subscribe at some point.
All right, great. And how much would one have to pay to subscribe?
So we have 3 basic packages, and the way we come up with our price point for each package really has to do with what and how the information is going to be used, because we break job titles based on those. So you are an executive. You really don't care about the details. You have your team that really deals with the details. You really want to get a feel for what's going on. So we have a basic package for you, and that is our $579. It's our North American standard package. $579, and it's a per year.
Per year. Okay.
Yes, per year subscription. And then we have the next one up, and that is our North American Pro. It's our most popular program. It's for $1,499 a year.
And you get more detail.
You get way more detail.
Yeah.
You get the operators, you get acreage, you get rigs. We throw in some maps occasionally. You get detailed operational activity. And when I say there is nowhere else on the web that you can go at any time and get this level of details. If you know nothing about the Marcellus, I can send you to Shale Experts today, and it will take you not long to know who the big players are, what kind of success they're having, who is doing what, how much money they plan to spend. That's the level of details that we have on the site.
Okay. And is there another level too?
And then the third level is what we call our Global Pro, and that is for $1,980 per year. And comparatively speaking, we always like to do this just because if you were to, for everything you get, and this is global solution, everything that we have that we provide for $1,980, if you were to go out to some of our competitors, which we won't name, and try to buy.
Right.
You would have to buy, for example, we have M&A. M&A is included in the system.
Okay.
We have our frac details, that's included in the system. We have our rigs, that's included in the system. Well, you'd have to go to all those 3 packages. You'd have to go to multiple vendors to buy those, and then you'd have to put them together by yourself.
And you'd be paying more.
And you'd be paying more. You'd be
Okay.
paying $6,000.
Okay. Now, a while ago when you said, we go vertical, does that mean, can I do that mid-level subscription? And just say I'm just an investor and I'm looking for opportunity, and I go down in the Eagle Ford, and then I want to go over to Marcellus. Can I just hop around to all those properties?
Oh, absolutely. So
Okay.
there's
All
another,
right.
there's one last one that we
All right.
have, and that's really for if you're really only interested in one area. If you operate in West Texas and you
Yeah.
really care about just the Permian Basin,
yeah.
you can just buy the Permian Basin.
Okay.
It's very inexpensive too.
Okay. Well, this is all real fascinating, and it seems like very timely. So I assume, do you have a subscriber or two?
Well, we have a subscriber or two. No, we are honestly, we are very, very fortunate. We built a platform, brought it to the marketplace. The marketplace has been very, very receptive, to the tune of we're a little bit over 9 months old. And we have a little over 2,500 subscribers.
Wow, sweet.
We've been blessed, is what I'd like to say.
Yeah.
But also, I think that it's a testament to the quality of the content,
Right.
and also how easy it is to quickly digest, and the timeliness. Those are our three strong points:
Yeah.
or timeliness, the depth, and the quality of the information.
Okay, sounds real fascinating. What in the world triggered the idea? How did you know ahead of everybody else that a comprehensive data set would work so well right now?
Well, I work for a publisher in the space. We built the first shale gas website.
Okay.
And throughout that time, I've always thought that instead of breaking data sets into multiple pieces, it just makes sense for the user. For the publisher, it's more financially rewarding.
Right.
But for the user, I have to go multiple places to find information.
Okay.
I am pro-user.
Okay.
So I felt that it was necessary to go out and build something that is more pro-user.
And aggregate the data.
And aggregate the data all
Really
in one
cool.
place. You don't have to go to 5 or 6 different places. To the tune of, we have people that literally go to the site every single day. Like it's like getting coffee. Right. That's really what we want to be. We want to be, you get your Starbucks, you go to Shale Experts.
Okay.
That's how we want people to see the platform.
Okay, really cool. Well, Rons, I really appreciate you sharing this story with us.
Thank you.
You bet. And that wraps up my discussion with Rons Dixon, the founder and CEO of Shale Experts. We'll be back with more right after this.
Production of natural gas from shale is arguably the biggest and best story in the history of the American oil and gas business the last 50 years. Okay, I mean, no doubt about that.
And that's the remarkable thing about energy and transformations in general. Anytime you can remove the geologic uncertainty to an extent and really boil it down to technology, the entire question is entirely different, right? It really is about how do we make it work. It becomes a scientific issue rather than an issue of uncertainty.
This is the Energy Makers Show, brought to you by NRG, moving clean energy forward. And now, back to the Energy Makers Show with your host, Russ Capper.
Welcome back to the Energy Makers Show, coming to you today from the University of Texas at Austin, where my guest is Lynn Lyon, the Director of Market Fuel Development with Pioneer Natural Resources Company. Lynn, welcome to the Energy Makers Show.
Thank you so much, Russ. We appreciate you having us.
You bet. Well, I do want to talk to you about being the Director of Market Fuel Development. But tell us about Pioneer Natural Resources Company first.
Pioneer is a large oil and gas producer, an independent in the state of Texas, and one of the largest. And we're big advocates for natural gas.
Okay, which leads me right into being the Director of Market Fuel Development. It must be focused completely on natural gas, eh?
It is. Right now, everyone is interested in lower cost fuels, and natural gas happens to be abundant and inexpensive. So we look at any opportunity we have to displace diesel. We look at it with any engine type that's using diesel or gasoline, including vehicles, off-road equipment. Like I said, anything with an engine's a candidate.
Okay, it seems like it's probably a pretty good way to save money and to not have such bad emissions at all. Is that right?
Yes, it's up to 90% cleaner with the emissions, which is very important to have areas where you have higher smog and concerns about asthma. When you can decrease the amount of things like particulate matter, it's very good for your area.
You mentioned the word abundant. It blows me away how much our innovators have found and how much natural gas we have. We're kind of in the clear for quite a few years now, right?
We're the Saudi Arabia of natural gas.
Okay, really cool. All right, so tell me what you've been doing as this advocate for natural gas.
Specifically here in Texas and with America's Natural Gas Alliance across the United States, we've worked on ways to develop strategic corridors to make sure that we have the connectivity within the states. If you wanted to fuel up with natural gas, you'd be able to get from one location to the other. 3 years ago, we started working on a project here in Texas. Texas being the #1 state producing natural gas, it only made sense to say, is this a place where we could take a lead role in developing infrastructure for natural gas vehicles? So we started a project called the Texas Clean Transportation Triangle to see if we could set up a corridor between DFW, San Antonio, and Houston to make sure that people could get to all 3 locations. We started very conservatively, trying to put together 13 stations, 550 trucks, and we have blown that away. And we pretty quickly were able to get 200 companies involved in this and think this was a pretty good idea for the state of Texas.
So I also understand that this took some legislation that you managed to get through the Texas legislature, right?
We are so thankful to the state of Texas for their leadership. The policymakers, the TCQ program, and over 200 stakeholders have helped us out. They have seen this vision from the beginning and knew it was a good idea and have really set up the right balance to get the incentives out to deliver on the minimal infrastructure we need for connectivity between the cities, and also to give the private sector confidence in investing also.
Well, I'm real excited about this too. I'm a fan of natural gas vehicles for sure too. But let's say we have somebody tuned in right now and they're really interested in it and want to take advantage of it. When can you kind of drive the whole triangle and not be afraid of running out of natural gas?
We are doubling the amount of stations in Texas in the next 6 to 18 months, which is unprecedented growth in the U.S. With liquefied natural gas and compressed natural gas. Liquefied natural gas is used more for the large trucks, compressed natural gas more for smaller trucks and different types of vehicles. And it's going to give more Texans an opportunity to use clean, affordable Texas natural gas to fuel up their vehicles. Just imagine, Russ, you know people that drive across town to save 10 cents at the pump.
Right.
Imagine the savings and the benefits for everyone if you could save $1 to $2 a gallon.
Well, Lynn, congratulations on the success of your advocacy.
Thank you so much, Russ.
You bet. And that wraps up my discussion with Lynn Lyon, the Director of Market Fuel Development with Pioneer Natural Resources Company. And that wraps up this episode of The Energy Makers Show, heard on the radio and seen right here at TheEnergyMakers.com.